Good morning and happy Wednesday. Welcome back to the Daily Grind. I'm your host, Chump Change. This is live and recorded. For those of you that might be new here, what we typically do is go over crypto news or news in general in the space. Update myself, bring you guys along for the ride. Sorry, getting choked up a little bit. I was logged out of everything this morning, so I had to reset my whole setup. So I apologize if there's any hiccups. That's why I started a little bit late. All right, Mr. Crypto KJ, let's see who's in the chat, and then we'll get into this. Mr. Max Voltage, good to see you, buddy. You got Steven Cicero, Deborah, Black Hat Team, Andrew Masad got deleted everywhere. Crypto KJ, you trolling him? What the hell's going on? Dan R, good to see you. All for you miners, good morning. Nick K, Michael Flores, good to see you, buddy. Good to see you. Everybody else I may have missed, I apologize. I got to get into this because we started a bit late. Bitcoin 98,484 bucks, looking pretty good, even though Microsoft rejected it. Apparently they voted, or all their shareholders voted on a no for the Bitcoin reserve that they were going to put some funds into, which is kind of interesting and kind of shocking. Well, that's not really that shocking, to be honest, but I guess you can't save everybody, right? Ethereum 37.28, XRP looking pretty good today, up 7%, $2.36. We got Solana 224 bucks, BNB at $690. We have ADA at $1.03. Went down to 98 cents I think yesterday. Pretty nice little pullback we had. It was at like $1.30 if I'm not mistaken. LTC we have 113 bucks. I think that's a steal too. You should probably get into that if you haven't gotten any Litecoin. We have ETC at $31. This is over 40 the other day. I might start DCAing back into a few coins today. Caspa at 16 cents. Let's see Near Protocols at $6.64. we got Dogecoin at 40 cents. It was actually, well, it was up over 44 right at one point, so that's pretty good pullback on that one. HBAR is still almost at 30 cents. We're at 29. Interesting. Toncoin is up 5% today to $6.16. Everything looks pretty good. That was a nice little pullback though. All right, crypto bubbles over here. Let's see, Mr. Crypto KJ, dude, thanks for the gifted memberships, man. You didn't have to do that. Jason, congrats. We have Sty Blaze. Did they say that Sty Blazing? I might have butchered that. I'm not sure how to read that. Be more stupid. Carlos and LL, congrats on the memberships. Crypto KJ, you didn't have to do that, man. I appreciate you. Thank you very much. All right, crypto bubbles, the biggest earner of the day. We have BGB over here. BitGet token 22.8% up on the day to $3.25. Ray, this is Radium over here, up 20%, 20.1 to be exact, $5.46. XDC is behind that at 14% up on the day. It's the XDC network, 9 cents. Nice. Nothing else really jumping out at me. Biggest loser of the day is this move token, the movement. This is the one that was the only one that was like pumping yesterday, and everything else was down 68 cents. All right, flashbang fear and greed index looking like a 74. We stayed extremely greedy yesterday and the day prior, both at 78, and now moved down to 74. It really isn't that far of a needle move, but I'm still happy it pulled back below 75. So this is where I would say we're okay to start DCAing, but that's just my opinion. Don't take advice from people on YouTube. That would be your first mistake. All right, let's see top 10 coins over here by coin market cap over on CoinGecko, starting with Bitcoin at a $1.9 trillion market cap. We then have Ethereum, Tether, XRP, Solana, BNB, Dogecoin, USDC, Cardano in 9th place, and Lido staked Ether in 10th place at a $36 billion market cap. Looking pretty good. I'm not going to get into anything else just because we have a lot of things to watch today. All right, moving on to the mining segment of things. I don't want to put in my email. All right, let's see. Over here on Acer Miner Value, we have the first place machine, AlphaPax DG Hydro 1 20 gigahash unit mining Dogecoin and Litecoin, making $61.24 per day. We have the AL1 Pro 16.6 terahash unit making $56.41. Looks like a lithium might be doing good. Check out a lithium quick. No, that is not a lithium. I hate that. If you hit enter too early, it just goes to whatever it wants to. All right, $2.26. A little bit down over 24 hours. The 7 days looking really good. Yeah, I mean, the lithium's looking pretty good. Thankfully. Thankfully it's coming back a little bit. Anybody that's into a lithium. Let's see, the L9 17 gigahash unit making 5614. We got the Volk Miner D1 17 gigahash unit. This unit, again, I would never recommend anybody to buy this. The efficiency is complete crap on this, unless you got like a complete steel and you have an amazing electric rate. It's the same thing as the L9, right, from Bitmain. But yeah, that thing's making 55 bucks a day, obviously, because it costs more electricity to run. We got the AL1 15.6 terahash unit making 53 bucks. The L9 16 gigahash unit making 52.84. The AL3 15 terahash unit making $50 a day. The Duke into that. That's pretty sweet. All right, my 9050 L7 over here. You guys know I got this thing down at Terra Hosting. Shout out to them. If you guys are interested in hosting or machines, check out the pinned comment or the link in the description. We have 26 bucks a day on this thing. Pretty amazing. This is my 9050 gigahashes. Insane. Gold Shell AL Max 8.3 terahash unit, $24 a day. What is the AL Max? I feel like I've seen this one. Yeah, I did. I clicked on this last time. Yeah, that's right. Interesting. Gold Shell getting into the big boy ASICs, it looks like. Scroll down a bit. The KA3 Cadena. I haven't seen Cadena. What is Cadena having a pump? I don't remember seeing Cadena in a while. Probably just skipped past it yesterday. KDA, right? That's what it is. $1.51, up 11% today. A little bit down over 7 day. I guess it's up over a month, up over 3 months, and it's been up over a year, like a couple days ago. Holy shit. Cadena, Hadouken. If anybody's got a Cadena miner, good for you guys. That's awesome. Get some of them profits back. I know you guys lost a shit ton when you first bought them, but hopefully that yeah, that's crazy. Interesting. It's nice to see Cadena back on the charts. The Gold Shell EDG1M. I gotta put this thing in my freaking garage today. Get some heat out there for the kids playroom. We got $8.62 a day. It's the 3.4 gigahash unit mining Dogecoin and Litecoin. Pretty amazing. Nothing else I really care to look at, to be honest. Nothing I care to look at. Let me go to Bitcoin quick. My Bitcoin miner, where's the S19K? Probably could have just typed it in, it would have been faster, but I like the pain. All right, S19K, 120 terahashes, make it $2.47 a day. Nice. Just making money on it. That's all that matters. $2 a day. Slow and steady wins the race. That's what they keep saying. Oh, didn't mean to do that. All right, let's see. GPUs over here. RTX 4090. The 40 series cards looks like a Leo. Top of the charts. A little bit of Zealous we saw up there. 3090 Cortex, Conflux and Pyron, nice. Eternity on some of the Nvidia cards. A5000, 3080. Yeah, so you guys get a few things to choose from, but Aleo seems to be the top of the chart still for most GPUs. All right. Oh, I forgot to remove that. All right, moving on to the new segment of things. We got Microsoft shareholders vote no to Bitcoin reserve. Sorry, I got to kind of blast through stuff today because, again, started super late. But yeah, so apparently they had a huge, I guess the company's board voted on it, all the shareholders, and it came up to a no. They do not want to invest in Bitcoin. Microsoft shareholders voted against a resolution to add Bitcoin to the company's balance sheet during the firm's annual meeting on December 10th. The National Center of Public Policy Research, a pro-free market think tank based in Washington, D.C., had proposed solution framing, the resolution framing it as a corporate duty to provide value to shareholders through profit diversification. The shareholders meeting, the NCPPR, submitted a pre-recorded video outlining their proposal, which was played during the shareholders meeting. The video, which opened with the line, "Microsoft can't afford to miss the next technology wave, and Bitcoin is that wave," was replete with charts and figures demonstrating the potential value of holding Bitcoin. In making its case, the group promised that adopting Bitcoin would create trillions in value and strip away risk from shareholders. The video echoed sentiments previously made in the text of its resolution. The institution, in quotations, it says the institutional and corporate adoption of Bitcoin is becoming more commonplace. Microsoft's second largest shareholder, BlackRock, offers its clients a Bitcoin ETF, which is kind of crazy that they don't want to get into this, especially if it could create a shit ton of money long term. Apparently they've learned nothing, so I don't know. It's just is what it is. I guess you want to be left in the dust. That's kind of how it is what it is. DJ, what's up, buddy? Good to see you, man.
Perfect.
Good to see you. All right, this was breaking news yesterday, about 13 hours ago. Trump's treasury pick says Powell will serve out his term as Fed chair. He will leave in May 26th. Let's see what they got to say over here about this. Guys, that like button. Appreciate you for hanging out. Let's do it.
Hey, Melissa. So Scott Bessent, Trump's pick to be the Treasury Secretary, was on Capitol Hill once again today, meeting with senators ahead of his nomination and leaving a meeting with incoming Senate Finance Chair Mike Crape. Our producer Karen James, caught up with him and got a chance to ask him a couple of questions about his priorities and about this idea of a shadow Fed chair. Take a listen.
As the president said on Sunday, and I am in complete agreement with him, that Jay Powell will serve out his term and leave the building as Fed chair on May 26th.
Now, this is interesting for what he said, but also, Melissa, I would highlight for what he hasn't said there. He said that essentially they will not be firing Jay Powell before his term is up, sort of reiterating or re-emphasizing what President-elect Trump said on Sunday in that interview, saying that he had no plans to replace Powell. But Bessent, of course, is the Trump advisor who initially laid out that idea of a shadow Fed chair, saying that he would advocate for nominating someone very, very early to replace Powell so that person could, in effect, become the one who lays out advice and who the market is listening to rather than Powell, even while Powell is still in office. Karen said to him there, how do you feel about a shadow Fed chair? He says that Powell will stay in office until the end of his term, but wasn't completely putting the idea to bed there. So a lot to read into this, Melissa, but at least for now, Powell can think that his job is safe.
He can think that his job is safe. Interesting. All right, let's see. The next step in Apple's evolution to bringing AI to the masses. Let's see what they got to say about this.
Apple stock hitting new highs. The company released another beta version of ChatGPT on the iPhone. Apple says a wide release is coming by the end of the year. Joining us now, Tony Sacconaghi, Bernstein, senior research analyst. He named Apple a best idea. 3.7 trillion. 3.7 trillion. I think it's the most valuable company in the world now. Again, Tony.
Is it most valuable company in the world? God damn.
Good morning, Joe. Apple's a phenomenal company. I think it's evolved from being a hardware player to a company that has an installed base of 1 billion unique users, 2.3 billion devices, and it's leveraging that installed base. And the next step in its evolution is bringing artificial intelligence to the masses through Apple Intelligence and through integration with large language models like ChatGPT. So it's a formidable company, and impressively, it's evolved to be something more than really just a purveyor of hardware products.
So this is the most recent move higher is due to what you're just talking about, ChatGPT, and rolling out another version?
I think it's difficult to know exactly why the stock has done so well over the last month. We do have a release candidate for iOS 18.2. Still not the final version. We should get it this week or next week. It's not game-changing yet, but I think investors see a path where we'll get better over time, Apple Intelligence will get better over time, and that will be how people use AI in their everyday lives, is through the access point of the iPhone or through the access point of their Macs or iPads. I think there are a lot of different factors that work near term. There's some mixed sentiment about the market. There's concerns about, some questions about broader AI and sustainability of growth and infrastructure. I think there are questions around tariffs. There are questions around Google and antitrust. And many investors believe that Apple's sort of this safe haven, and they can look out over the next year or two and see a pathway for Apple. So it may be more the latter than simply this version 18.2.
Have you guys tried the new, like taking pictures on your iPhone and using that new feature that they got? Like you can like scribble away shit in the background. It's like a Photoshop, but like with your finger. It's fucking unreal how much you can delete. Like you can remove people that are like standing in the background. It's crazy. Try it out. If you guys haven't updated your phone, update it and go look at that. It's crazy.
And Apple, again, or at least now, topping the list of the best managed companies, according to Wall Street Journal, of 2024. And where I'm going with this is it's been reported that quietly but very successfully, Tim Cook has developed a close relationship with President-elect Donald Trump. You mentioned
Dan R.
Stop the cap.
Samsung did not have that 6 years ago.
two things. You mentioned tariffs and antitrust as being in the future for a lot of tech companies. And you would have to think that having a relationship with the president-elect on both those areas probably is a positive for Apple. So that's good management there.
Yes. And, again, kudos to Tim Cook. I think he's managed to maintain a generally friendly relationship with China. And obviously, China is super important to Apple. 90% of its production is there. 20% of its sales are to the Chinese consumer. And then I think likewise, Apple has successfully navigated political challenges. 8 years ago, when there were talks of tariffs, smartphones were supposed to be tariffed 10%. And Apple was able to effectively work with the administration to not have that tariff put in place. And so I think that's a testament to Tim Cook's diplomacy capabilities. And I do think that potentially serves Apple well. Now, there are lots of questions about tariffs. Clearly, Apple is exposed. But I think, Apple is an iconic American company, and the current administration does want to promote American businesses. And so I think Apple does have some legs to stand on that. Hey, if you tariff us as an American company, you actually may create advantages for, Samsung, a Korean company. And so I do think that Apple has and likely will continue to underscore the importance of the company and the fact that it is an American company with a lot of jobs in the United States.
The new phones, so they had some AI, but we were told don't expect much. The stock has still continued to hit new highs, even though it was kind of a bridge to where it really becomes an important feature for the phones. Are we almost there now?
I don't know if we're almost there. I think, but I think investors see a path, and so I think the bull case for next year going forward is, Apple's expected to do about $7.50 this year, fiscal 25, which they're now in. Fiscal 26, which starts in the fall of next year. I think Apple could have a very strong iPhone cycle. You will have better AI capabilities. You will have a thinner iPhone that will be available, and typically form factor changes help iPhone sales, and you'll have an older installed base. And so I think you could have a very strong cycle in fiscal 26.
$9?
Well, I think, yes. I think $9 is not an unrealistic number. And Apple, typically peaks out at around 32 times earnings. It's actually a little more than that. That'd be a $290 stock. So do you run out and buy it today at 247? I'm not so sure. Maybe you'll get a pullback. This iPhone cycle won't be great. Maybe there'll be some uncertainty about either the product rollout or about some of the other issues we talked about. But I think if you look forward over the next year, it's one can make that case, and the numbers could support a materially higher stock price.
Interesting. So the reason I like both phones. I've had an Android and I've had Apple, but Apple is just so easy to use. Like, it's not confusing at all. And listen, simple brain, work smarter, not harder. All right. I want this shit to work easy. But yeah, that new wipe away fucking people on your pictures, it was pretty cool. I never had that on a phone before. All right, Google's Quantum Leap. Let's see what they got to say over here against CNBC television. Let's do it.
Shares of Google jumping today after announcing that quantum computing breakthrough, saying that its new chip, Willow, can perform a milestone computing task in just 5 minutes and would have taken a classical supercomputer longer than the history of the universe to do. Deirdre Bosa has that story for today's Tech Check. This is a big talker today.
What? They can do it in 5 minutes, and it would have took a normal supercomputer? The history of the universe? What? Is that real?
Hey, good morning, Carl. So certainly a lot of excitement in the tech world over this breakthrough and what it could mean in the future, from lending credence to the idea of a multiverse, to decoding the origins of life, to breaking Bitcoin encryptions. With a very large caveat, though, these big...
Did you say breaking Bitcoin encryptions? Dude, that's the only thing that really scares me about crypto and AI computing and all this shit. People hacking shit and breaking seed phrases and all that.
Moonshotty applications, they're still many years away, and they require yet more breakthroughs. What Google was able to do with Willow, this latest quantum chip, is reduce errors as they scaled up using more qubits, cracking a key challenge that the field has pursued for nearly 30 years. They did it through random circuit sampling, which has no practical application. But Google's VP of Engineering, Hartmut Navin, tells me that this is essentially an entry ticket. If you can't win decisively on any problem, he says, then you can't win on a useful problem. So in other words, Google's quantum breakthrough is a critical step toward getting to practical applications. When I pushed him on when that would be, a year, 5 years, 10 years, he said, let's resolve to talk again in the near future. Now, shares of Google is up more than 4% today. It's one of the best S&P performers. As the tech world and Wall Street alike cheer this breakthrough, Elon Musk responding to Sundar Pichai's post about the breakthrough on X with a wow. And then there was a back and forth between these two on a potential quantum space collaboration. Piper also naming Alphabet a top pick this morning, which all stands in contrast, guys, to something we brought up many times, Google's valuation. It is still the lowest forward PE multiple of all the mega caps, pressured by government lawsuits and its innovators' dilemma in the age of Gen AI. But despite that, investors might want to note that it is a leader in the most emerging and promising technologies, that being generative AI, autonomous driving, and now quantum computing. This year, though, investors have rewarded the smaller players in quantum computing, like D-Wave, which is up more than 400%, its market value about $1 billion. I spoke to the company's CEO, Alan Baratz, who described their process, known as annealing, which is different from what Google is working on, as quantum for optimization. It may not ever be able to explain life's mysteries, as Google is setting out to do, but this kind of quantum computing can be put into practice now for things like supply chain management. Here he is on the difference between quantum and generative AI.
If the market is following a trend that's been followed before, AI will predict it well. If there's a discontinuity or a black swan, AI is not going to see it. It's not going to be able to compute it. So, that's where quantum really shines, is in computing solutions to problems where the solution has never before been computed.
So all of this basically just to raise the prospect that quantum computing can one day be as transformational as generative AI. And we've certainly seen the kind of transformation that's brought just in the last 2 years alone.
Interesting. That's really neat. But yeah, so like, I don't know if wallets without seed phrases, right, when it comes to like being able to hack into like, I don't know, crack anything when it comes to Bitcoin, like seed phrases, whatever. Wallets that don't have seed phrases like Tangem, right? You have the option to have it, but it's actually more secure without it. I think would be a better option to like versus holding something like a, I don't know, like a ledger with the seed phrase, right? Or just any other crypto wallet. I don't know, but LEPAL is pretty good too. They're actually really, they're a straight cold wallet, completely air gapped, which is pretty nice. So you guys can check out all those. Problem with quantum computing. Let's see, is error correction. Let's see what they got to say over here. This is Mr. Gene Munster.
All right. For more, let's bring in Fast Money friend Gene Munster of Deepwater Asset Management. Gene, I don't know about the septillion stuff and all the zeros. What can this do? Drug discovery and other things. Is this too much to afford? Google's market cap today for what this could be in however many years?
I'm in the camp, I think, consistent with what most of the panelists said, which is this is probably too much for today. I agree with Guy that this is more of a validation point for Google's tech. But this, just to put in perspective, they started this Willow project 12 years ago. And so the potential around this being commercialized is probably 10 years away. And so it's still a long time. It does speak, there is a piece where the stock should have been up today. I would have guessed a few percent, because I think it does speak to Google invested in the right areas for what will be continuing tech acceleration in the decades to come. I mean, this is a Google investor, is asleep well at night, similar as Waymo is a sleep well at night business. Doesn't get a ton of attention, but I think collectively, Melissa, I would have expected the stock to be up a couple percent today, not 5%.
Gene, I love when you agree with me, so thank you. I'll ask you this question then on the back of that. Who should be worried about this? I saw in your notes, probably not NVIDIA, not AMD yet, but somebody has to be.
Yeah, I think there's some of the other quantum companies. There's private companies on that side, but I think on the public side, the worries are probably, because this is again is so far away. I think the piece that the rest of the Mag 7 needs to be contemplating here, and NVIDIA needs to be thinking about, is just what are they doing to have some sort of position within quantum computing. It's theory right now, but I think you have to pursue that theory, similar to when aviation was theory before we got flight. I mean, all of these things go from projects from the lab, and so I would say the potential losers are the companies that aren't doing that. And I think Google is standing alone right now within the Mag 7 in terms of their investments in quantum.
So you said 10 years away from commercialization, and what do you think commercialization could be? What is the field that could benefit the most from quantum computing?
I mean, I think it's as simple as AI. I mean, just the pure, you went through the numbers, basically going from an eternity to 5 minutes. I mean, it's hard. This is the kind of stuff, it's called superposition. It's hard for me to wrap my mind around the improvements in compute speed. And so I think probably the biggest beneficiary is just everything that's AI. I mean, ultimately, you have a company like NVIDIA. If quantum moves from theory to actually a production product, they need to have an answer down the road. And so the question, who's going to be impacted? What's the use cases on these? I think AI is probably front and center. And within AI, probably probably healthcare is one of the biggest areas, initial areas.
Interesting. Oh, look at that. Good morning, Mr. Geek of All Trades. Thanks for showing up. Appreciate you. All right, why 2025 could be another year of growth for stocks? See what they got to say over here at CNBC Television. Let's do it.
Joining me is Andres Garcia Amaya, the CEO of Zoe Financial. Also with us is CNBC contributor and KKM Financial founder and ETF Lord, Jeff Kilberg. And it's great to see you both. Andres, just lay it out for us first as you're kind of going through your process for 2025. A lot of people think it's too good to be true. Next year's going to be a year of more mean reversion.
Yeah, I mean, the first thing I would point out is that average returns are actually rare. You know, Wall Street's predicting 10% returns next year, as they usually do. There's only been 2 calendar years over the last 90 years in which you actually saw 10 to 12% returns. So the reality of it is that being up 20, being up 25 is more common than being up 10 or 12.
But would you say being down 20 is more common than being up 10 or 12?
Within one standard deviation, 68% chance that you're down 10. Okay. That's actually not uncommon. Okay. Right? But think about it this way. If directionally the market's going to go up, there's no reason to think that 10% is where we're going to hit, because historically that's actually been rare. If the markets go up, they tend to go up.
So interesting. So you think we could have a three-peat?
I think there's a better chance of having a three-peat for the market than for the Chiefs.
I said, why did you make that analogy? They look okay lately.
They look great. Mahomes looks great, but there's only happened twice where the Green Bay Packers in the 20s and the 60s had a three-peat. So that would be rare.
But the investment case has only happened once. So wouldn't it be, based on history, this would be more unusual than that?
Well, there's been 4 times since the 20s in which the markets have been up 3 years in a row. So it would be 3 versus 4, meaning...
So maybe not up 20%, but up 3 years in a row.
Yes.
Jeff, would you like to bail us out here? Would you like to weigh in on the market versus Chiefs? Who's going to defy history?
Well, first and foremost, I want to weigh in on Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls and their three-peat in the 1990s. But I'm not as optimistic as Andres. I see your point. It seems like the market is stuck on automatic. We've seen massive inflows, week after week, historic inflows, ever since the November 5th election. And those expectations we have for 2025, I think, have been pulled forward. So when I look at complacency presented in the VIX, when I look at the kind of exhaustion we're seeing with NVIDIA moving a little bit lower, I get a little concerned short term that we have the ability to have another 25% plus year. I'm cautiously optimistic, but I see a single-digit year with the 10-year note back at 4.25 and all the moving parts. I think the expectations for the market cap growth stocks, the Mag 7, to continue to lead the way, I just don't see that happening. And then we talk about the outliers, the Palantir, we talk about the Teslas, we talk about the micro strategies. I think that's a bit of a distraction. I think we're going to get back to basics next year in some of these blue chip industrial names, which should profit under the Trump 2.0.
See, that sounds sensible to me, which is why I think Andres might be right. Jeff, don't you think the sensible thing never happens? The sensible thing never happens.
Oh, for sure. And look at this year, Kelly, when you see the estimates. Every S&P analyst had estimates. They were 25% wrong. Their targets, on average, were about 4,800 in the S&P 500. And here we are at 6,100. I think you're right. And I think every move we've seen, as investors and traders, we become conditioned. We become acclimated. Today, we're seeing the S&P 500 with a very narrow range. It feels like a down day because we haven't had a new record all-time high. So I think you're absolutely right. The moves up and down will be exaggerated. But I think that is going to happen when you see more of the Fed pull back their $7 trillion balance sheet. But I don't know if that happens in 2025. And that plays into the fact that Andres may get his three-peat.
Jeff, let me put it differently. So you're an investor. You're looking at the gains this year. You're thinking, okay, maybe we'll have a repeat. Maybe we won't. Do you do anything with that information?
I think you do. We've been aggressively selling calls here. We're trying to synthetically mitigate downside risk, but we're also trying to be more equal weighted. We've let our winners run all year long, and that's been a winning recipe. But I think pigs get fat, hogs get slaughtered. So we're trying to be considerate of some of the non-Mag 7 names we want to own. And if you even look like a day like today, Oracle had a pretty rough earnings, but it still is delivering on the cloud, down 10%. I think that's an opportunity. So I think you have to add to non-Mag 7 names and be considerate in the event you see NVIDIA dip under $130. You're going to see all these 500 ETFs that own NVIDIA, they're going to have to trim and rebalance. I think that could exaggerate a bit of a pullback here, not more than 5% or 7%, but that will make it a more of an acute feeling because we become so acclimated and so used to the market just going up.
Yeah, that's a funny.
Interesting. All right, I'm going to kill it there. Mr. Lookout News said, anybody here hear about that 13-year-old boy that created his own coin that went up millions of dollars, people buying the coin, then he sold it all? Yeah. This, I think you're talking about this kid right here. This kid, Voidzilla, this is CoffeeZilla's like second channel. I think he made a video about it. Is this the future of finance? This kid, that young kid right there, flipping people out. He's like 13 years old, made a bunch of meme coins. He made like 30 grand or something on dumping a meme coin. I think that's the one you're talking about. If it's not, please let me know. But yeah, go watch the video. I'll put it in the live chat so you guys can see. It's just, you know, this world never ceases to amaze me. All right, Bitcoin continues pullback from all-time highs, trading near 96,000. Let's see.
Today, spot Bitcoin ETF issuers surpassed Satoshi Nakamoto to become the largest holders of the cryptocurrency.
Oh, wow.
And Alex Thorne of Galaxy Digital discusses the crypto market's retreat from recent highs and whether quantum computing headlines out of Google are spooking crypto investors.
Yeah, I mean, that would be the only thing that's really spooking me, right?
Welcome to CNBC's Crypto World. I'm Tanea McKeel. Crypto markets in the red this morning. As of noon Eastern, Bitcoin lost 1.5% and was trading at $96,330. Ether fell 6% to $3,600, and XRP tumbled 12.5% to $2.09.
It did go down to 2.9. Let's see. Right now we're at 237. Came right back 98,000 Bitcoin. So that was obviously yesterday afternoon.
All right, a quick update on Bitcoin ETFs. The asset managers behind those funds, in less than 1 year since their launch, have become the largest holders of Bitcoin. Asset managers.
That's over 1 million Bitcoin. That's crazy.
Now hold about 1,104,000 Bitcoin, just surpassing holdings of anonymous founder Satoshi Nakamoto, who is said to control 1,100,000 Bitcoin. Asset managers hold about 5% of all Bitcoin, and Bitcoin makes up 1% of assets under management across all ETFs.
That's wild.
These funds began trading in the U.S. back in January. The launch was marked as a milestone in getting institutional interest and even adoption into the cryptocurrency. All right, for our main story, I spoke with Alex Thorne, head of firm-wide research at Galaxy Digital, about the crypto market's recent retreat. I also asked him about a headline from Google that had some crypto investors up in arms. The tech giant unveiled a new quantum computing chip dubbed Willow, which Google says is a major milestone. That had some worried it could spell trouble for the cryptographic technology that keeps Bitcoin secure. I asked Thorne about that point as well. All right, Alex, it is great to see you. Thank you for joining us today. Let's start with what's going on in the market today. A big week last week, a little reversal today and yesterday. What do you make of it?
I mean, you've seen some big liquidations that have enhanced the drawdown, but I think anytime an asset moves up so quickly as it did, Bitcoin was up 40% in November. It's rational to see people take gains, to see some resistance at key psychological levels like 100K. I don't think it changes anything about even the near-term sort of thesis for Bitcoin, but absolutely some volatility happening the last few days. I think you'll see it, recover and move higher.
Obviously, a lot of bullishness heading into 2025, but just looking at these last couple of weeks of the year, where do you expect to see us finish for Bitcoin at the end?
It's honestly hard to say. It's probably call two likely outcomes. One, more volatility and chop in and around or slightly below the 100K level. And then one where, if we really see that dam break higher above 100K, we were close. We got to about $104,000 Bitcoin. I think it could be a pretty rapid move higher. After that, but again, it's really, I think the market knows that it's supposed to anticipate many bullish catalysts, and we're just sort of trying to price where that is and react to news as it happens. But I would say around here, around 100K is very likely. But I wouldn't expect any significant downside from where we are now.
Next question, you kind of just touched on this, but we are in this natural period of digestion after 100K. Is there anything in particular that you are tracking, or that any of us should be tracking as we look at it? I guess the question is, what would make Bitcoin and the crypto market broadly kind of resume its uptrend heading into next year?
Additional announcements from corporates or nation states about adoption of Bitcoin would certainly, I think, cause the market to react. I think it's very possible and even possibly likely that you'll start to see that happen over the next couple months. Any kind of further clarity from the incoming Trump administration on regulatory policy. You've started to see some really positive stories about the new SEC chair nominee, Paul Atkins, and his history. I saw today a story that he had blamed the U.S. for FTX's failure, referring specifically to the inability to properly regulate crypto exchanges onshore, having pushed people to an offshore venue like that. That's very consistent with how the industry thinks. So yeah, I think more clarity, more adoption stories could definitely move.
Do you guys blame the U.S. for that? I blame SBF for being a dank. But
the needle here, macro changes in the macro environment could also have an impact.
I get the point. But
sticking with adoption, Microsoft's board meeting is today, and we saw the news that there are some who are pushing for Amazon to make the same or a similar consideration at its board meeting. I've been following Dennis Porter at Satoshi Action Fund and the work that he's doing with individual states who have been in talks with him about introducing strategic Bitcoin reserve legislation in their individual states. What do you make of that as a trend or as a potential trend? I know that there's been so much debate because of how exciting it's been around if the U.S. should do a strategic Bitcoin reserve, if it will do it first, if it will do it at all. But, if you do start to see those states move the needle a little bit faster, what kind of impact do you expect that to have on Bitcoin?
Yeah, I haven't seen any states actually pass those bills, but I have seen some introduced. It really depends. I think at the state level, various states have different ways of managing, whether it's pension assets or other balance sheet assets, right? States have to manage their and balance their budgets. The U.S. government certainly does not. It's shown that it doesn't do it. So it's a little bit of a different story, I think, between states and like a sovereign that issues the currency itself. When it comes to any type of portfolio, corporate, individual, institutional, national, the facts about Bitcoin's historical performance hold true. Adding a small amount of Bitcoin exposure can dramatically increase the Sharpe or Sortino ratios of a general portfolio, whether that's $100 or $100 million. That's why we've seen, for example, some state pension funds like the State of Wisconsin Investment Board make an allocation through the Bitcoin ETFs. That holds true. It doesn't really matter the size. So I think it's reasonable for large allocators to look at this. And again, that's obviously historical data. But Bitcoin has consistently moved higher over its 15-year lifespan. In terms of the national strategic Bitcoin reserve idea, there's a lot of proposals being floated like this. I think in the end, every global fiat reserve currency has eventually been dethroned or failed in the history of the world. True. So I think if our politics could be ready to discuss this, which is a big open question, it's reasonable to wonder about what might come after the dollar, or to think about, by the way, if our competitors, allies, or adversaries are going to do something similar, to look at the game theory there and wonder what the policy should be, which I think is part of the reason you're seeing that discussion sort of heat up.
All right. A hard pivot now. Yesterday, Google announced its quantum chip Willow. I don't know how closely you're following this one, but that sent a bunch of people, at least on Crypto X, it has some fearful that Bitcoin private keys could potentially be decrypted, which would, of course, allow for potential unauthorized access to Bitcoin wallets. What do you make of this? Or at this point in that potential story, what is it that viewers of this show need to know at this point?
Yeah, there is no current threat to Bitcoin's encryption or cryptography or any real modern cryptography today. Quantum computing, now there could be some time in the future. And I would say the most aggressive estimates for when that could be a concern that I've ever seen are 10 to 20 years. And that's the most aggressive. The idea, look, Bitcoin uses two types of encryption, ECDSA, which it secures Bitcoin addresses, and SHA-256, which is what miners compute on in order to add blocks to the network, right? My understanding is at 105 qubits, which is what Google announced with Willow, ECDSA and SHA-256 could take anywhere between 1 or 100 million qubits, 1 million or 100 million. So we're not remotely close to this actually being a possibility. And I should point out that Bitcoin is very difficult to change and upgrade. That is by design, but it doesn't mean that it can't be upgraded. And I think Bitcoin developers are starting to slowly think about how to upgrade Bitcoin to be more quantum resistant. But again, it's not a fear anytime soon.
And
it's still kind of a fear, though. It still kind of is.
Got to know what you make of XRP. We don't talk about it very much here. You and I have never talked about it very much, but it did really rip after the election. And even when you saw that pause in the, call them blue chip crypto assets, Bitcoin and Ether, XRP just kept going and going. So what is behind that, and how much room does that have?
Does that make you guys nervous at all in the chat? Like quantum computing and the whole, just hacking anything when it comes to Bitcoin? That's not a good fear. Price can go down. I don't know. I don't know. It's kind of it's just interesting. It's kind of scary to think about.
Oh man, XRP, blast from the past. I think I've never been a big fan of XRP, the asset. I think it's never really had a clear product market fit, despite a lot of marketing. However, Ripple did win a key part of their lawsuit that the SEC had brought against them related to secondary token trading. And I think it's, it could be one of the biggest beneficiaries in a change in posture from the SEC. I think it was the biggest issuer of tokens that had been sued. So I think it makes sense if as the sort of biggest target by the SEC, if the SEC totally reverses its posture on these questions, for XRP to be one of the biggest winners from it. In general, pretty low float, trading at a huge valuation, well above some major corporations. I think so far still with quite little to show for it, but the market is looking for ways to express optimism about the new administration. And in that sense, XRP was a good target for that.
Interesting. All right. Moving on to the videos. Let's see. Lark Davis, Microsoft rejects Bitcoin. Again, reiterating that whole thing. Sucks is what it is. Let's do it.
Microsoft has rejected Bitcoin. You know what, Microsoft? Bitcoin doesn't need you anyway. We got BlackRock. We got Sailor. We got Bhutan, man. And Oman and the UAE and everybody else in the damn world stack. And you're missing out, Microsoft. Your mistake, but I'd expect no less from a Bill Gates company. Psh. Jeff Bezos, you better get Amazon on buying some Bitcoin. Zuck, looking at you, man. Huang over at NVIDIA, man. Let's go. Let's go. Buy some Bitcoin. Come on. Front run Microsoft. Make them pay for their mistake. Anyway, we got that news.
I so hope Amazon does it.
We got charts. We got AI stuff. It's going to be a big day. Let's get it. So, Microsoft, man. Shareholders vote against buying Bitcoin. Well, you know, I just can't save some people. What are you going to do? Price of Bitcoin, we did see a little bit of a sell-off on that. People were expecting, oh, yeah, they're going to go, and it's going to be really exciting. Yeah, it kind of didn't happen. Now, we got a lot of lines drawn on the chart here. I want to go over a few of these with you. MACD daily still in a downtrend here for Bitcoin. Watch for reversal. It could go a lot lower on the MACD before we see a reversal come in and the final sort of big smash beyond 100K, and then the next major markup period begin for Bitcoin. We could consolidate here longer than some people might think. And we've had the big day of Bitcoin ETF inflows and stuff like that, and things might move faster than expected. But right now, we're consolidating a little bit under this 100K target, okay? So have a look here. This line right here, this is our downtrend line. We had a breakout attempt, came back down, have so far retested that.
I like all these lines. I just feel like half of this is just bullshit. Because like this one, you should probably bring it up to here and hit here, and then it would be way over here. Like it's not even, I don't know.
That's that curly, but it's sitting in a very interesting area. So this is,
it's like literally like licking your finger and like, which way is the wind blowing? Like hopefully this works out.
Technically a bullish retest of the downtrend. It's just a daily downtrend. It's not the strongest downtrend in the world by any means, but nevertheless, breakout, retest, big wicks in either direction. It's sloppy, man. It's sloppy. Okay.
Sloppy.
Now we have this right here. This is the uptrend.
There you go.
Right
That's
here.
what I was just saying.
Okay. So the uptrend here,
line up.
tracing all the way back to the start of the pump here. That uptrend currently in the process of breaking right here. Okay. So Bitcoin's in this very interesting area price-wise, right below the uptrend line, which essentially could turn into a bearish retest of the uptrend line, or we have a bullish retest of the downtrend line. Where the price goes in the next day or two is probably going to decide how that plays out in the market, okay? Downside potential, 92K, of course, remains the critical area for price support for Bitcoin. You can see resistance over here, support here, support here. We'd hope it would be support once again. That's a critical area, I think, for Bitcoin to hold on to as support. Failure to hold that, we could see price trading back down the mid-80K zone. So next day or two, we should have a decision from the market on where Bitcoin is going in regards to these two trend lines. MACD again.
Come on, Lark.
Slowly grinding downwards. Watch for that daily MACD to flip bullish again. For probably the
right here.
Fajal saying, welcome to the new range. Have a plan, execute. Don't let your monkey brain take control. Don't chase the market. Let it come to you, bullish or bearish. True. Sometimes there's really just no trade. There's nothing to do except sit and watch. Oh, if the price goes down, we'll have a plan for that. Are you going to buy more? Are you shorting the market? What's the plan? Is there an invalidation level where you think, okay, it's over, so I'm going to sell now? On the upside, where's your breakout targets? All this kind of stuff. This is something to be thinking about when looking at the market, okay? Now, by the way, in case you would like to have somebody cleverer than me tell you about Bitcoin, billionaire Ray Dalio, one of my favorite investors out there, he says, I want to steer away from debt assets and have some hard money like gold and Bitcoin. Amen to that, man. Look at all the global debt right now. It's not going to end well. And that could be the thing that takes everything down. You know, everybody says, well, but you know, America's going to buy 1 million Bitcoin and there's no way the price can go down. Like, oh, I'm sorry, but you cook up a global debt crisis and everything's going to get real bad real quick, okay? I mean, we're already in a global debt crisis. It just keeps having the can kicked down the road. At some point, you run out of road, kick the can down, okay? Don't know when that happens. Ray Dalio's been sounding the alarm on this for a while, and at some point, everything he says is going to come true, and there will be a reckoning for U.S. debt in particular, and I'm not sure Trump's going to be able to fix that in 4 years' time. And even if he does, I mean, the other guys come back in and then screw it all up again. Hard money, gold and Bitcoin, baby. Gold and Bitcoin. Love it. Love it. Ray's on board, man. Ray's a Bitcoiner. Dig it. Ethereum had a nice bounce here. $3,500 is the key area of support. MACD's just hit a downtrend, though. See if it lasts for long. We could be in for a bit more consolidation for Ethereum. Now, this right here, this is, of course, key price resistance in this orange box right here. And this orange line is actually a major multi-year downtrend line. So the first attempt to take it out, being a bit of a fake out, and then a bit of consolidation right around or under that line would not surprise me in the least bit. That's kind of how these things work sometimes. Solana came right back down to hit basically exact our targets here we shared in the newsletter the other day. MACD on a significant downtrend, probably going to start reversing sooner than later, but that could still go for another week or two before we see a significant reversal come in here on the MACD, which sets the next daily uptrend in motion. Downtrend still on the daily price action here. Sort of no real trade right now on Solana, okay? You want to either see it take out 240 and then go higher, or get a retest here of 200 for, of course, holding for support, obviously, and then to go long on that situation. Ideally, you want to see a breakout of the 240, so this downtrend line, coupled with a MACD bull cross. That would be nice, if you ask me. Now, if you want to be trading any assets, whether it be Solana or...
Nope.
This meme, Daddy Fiscante shared this, said, me and my third cycle, balls deep, risk on. Ah, yeah, balls deep, risk on, man. Sometimes you dip the balls just a little bit too deep and they get burned a little bit. Okay, that happened back in August, but just a little bit too deep. It's fine. Happens. Don't go for the whole way, though, guys, okay? Anyway, balls deep, risk on here, okay? Looking down at, of course, the little robot dogs here, second cyclers with PTSD calling top and every 5% down move before ETH has even broken an all-time high. Amen to that, man. ETH hasn't even broken an all-time high, and people are like, the cycle's over, man. It's down 5% today. Oh, flash crash and altcoins, it's over. All of this stuff is normal. Expect 20 to 30% downturns on Bitcoin multiple times throughout the cycle. Expect 20 to 30% downturns on altcoins multiple times throughout the cycle before we reach our peak, which might come in March or April. Okay, then maybe we get a summer lull and a final hurrah at the end of the year, but that's not guaranteed. Nothing, of course, guaranteed. Market, maybe we don't get March April top. Maybe it really is over and World War III starts tomorrow. The aliens come and invade. The global debt crisis is kicked off. Every country goes to zero and we go back to the dark ages. Solar flares hit. Quantum computers take over. It's all done. Or not. When markets keep going up and everything ends up being kind of okay. You know, all the doomers out there, life's a vibe, man, right? Life's electric. Life's amazing. Things are usually generally okay. Short term, there can be some bullshit, but you know, smooth your life out across the whole scale of things and everything's pretty much okay. And that's kind of the way markets work as well, approximately. This guy here.
All right, I'm going to stop it here. If you guys want to finish Locke Davis's video, please feel free to do it. I want to jump into Altcoin Daily because I don't have much time left to get these kids to school. Eric Trump, let's see. Donald Trump's huge crypto plan will make Bitcoin's price explode to $1 million. I don't know about that, but wishful thinking.
I can tell you a lot of eyes were opened when Bitcoin hit 100,000. And I can tell you a hell of a lot more eyes are going to be opened when Bitcoin hits 1 million.
Eric Trump just perfectly explained how his father, U.S. President-elect Donald Trump, will make the U.S. the crypto capital of the world and send the price of Bitcoin to $1 million per coin.
And I'm confident it's going to hit 1 million.
I'll tell you this again. You might want to buy some Bitcoin.
Bitcoin is going to the moon, as we say. It's going to the moon. I want America to be the nation that leads the way, and that's what's going to happen.
And if you agree that Bitcoin's price can hit $1 million someday, smash the like button and comment when you think this will happen. Send this video to one person who really likes Donald Trump and should really like Bitcoin. Eric Trump just took the stage at Bitcoin Conference MENA for a keynote speech the Bitcoin community won't be forgetting anytime soon. He gave such a passionate speech on how Donald Trump, his father, will help Bitcoin, save crypto, and send prices sky high.
Well, I've been a big fan of crypto for a long time, and so is my father, and I think he realizes that every country in the world is embracing it, and people are running. I mean, look at where we are right now in Abu Dhabi. I mean, they're putting billions of dollars into crypto, into kind of digital technologies, and if we don't do it as America, we're going to be left behind. And he wants to make America the crypto capital of the world. He's been very, very clear with that, and I applaud that.
I mean, you can see how strong he started. As soon as he took the stage, he starts off saying, guys, we're going to make sure that the U.S. is the crypto capital of the world.
You know, it's really great to be here, guys. It's really, really great. I believe in Bitcoin. I absolutely love Bitcoin. You know, it's got a very special place in our heart, and I'm very proud that my father stood on stage in Nashville, and he came out and said that he's going to be the Bitcoin president, he's going to be the crypto president, he's going to make America the crypto capital of the world.
Here, he actually...
Oh, I so hope he removes taxes from crypto. That'd be amazing. I don't think it's going to happen, but that'd be great.
Reveals the real reason Larry Fink, BlackRock, and Wall Street are getting into crypto. Only an insider like Trump could reveal to us something like this.
Why do you think BlackRock, and why do you think Schwab, and why do you think JP Morgan and Fidelity, why do you think they're buying crypto by the billions? Now, why do you think every major bank in the world is opening up exchanges and launching ETFs and kind of launching into this new frontier? There's no question that the institutions are petrified. Guys, they're petrified.
Because to be clear, Eric Trump was not paid to be on that stage. He is headlining at the Bitcoin conference because he truly loves crypto and wants to see Bitcoin succeed.
And guys, I'm proud of that because I truly believe. I truly believe. I'm not being paid to be on this stage. I get nothing out of being on this stage. I believe because it's a future. I truly believe that this is the beginning of a financial revolution, not just in America, but truly around the world. I think that Bitcoin is a fundamental shift in the way we think about money, about how we think about wealth, how we think about really the future.
Because I was amazed by this. I had no idea that we can thank Michael Saylor for onboarding Donald Trump and the whole family. Eric Trump talks about the early years with Michael Saylor and reveals his favorite Michael Saylor moment.
You know, I've known Michael Saylor for 20 years. I mean, and by the way, if you want to talk about a great champion for this industry, it's Michael Saylor. That guy deserves all the credit in the world. There's very few people who are smarter, and there are very few people who are better cheerleaders for an industry that clearly he believes in. He's a national treasure to the United States, and frankly, he's a national treasure to this world. And by the way, just sidetrack, his patience is absolutely remarkable. Has anybody seen that mashup where an interviewer asks him the same question over and over, and he kind of looks down, he sighs, takes a big breath, and then he answers a question that he's answered 100 times?
Why don't you break this down simply for people like me that don't fully understand it? Okay.
If you went out the yield curve on bonds, or if you went in...
This big ass exhale.
It's happening as all of these new companies...
So let's just start at the beginning, if you don't mind, explaining what is it?
Sure.
The guy is a remarkable guy. He's an amazing guy, and he's truly a national treasure. But I think I even said to Michael Saylor in the early years, Michael, I don't get this stuff. I mean, I know you love Bitcoin. I don't get it. If I can't feel it, if I can't see it, it's really not for me.
Hey, buy gift cards to your...
I don't buy anything. What the hell? What? Buy gift cards? Get the fuck out of here.
Understand how Trump is going to help crypto, we need to understand why Trump likes crypto. What are Trump's motives? Donald Trump changed his mind on Bitcoin and crypto for two huge reasons. Number one, what they were doing, suppressing crypto for years, is exactly what they were doing to the Trump family, and they recognize that.
Guys, I've seen the modern financial system be weaponized. I've seen politics be weaponized. I've seen the legal system in this world be weaponized. And it's one of the reasons that I love crypto. It's one of the reasons I so strongly believe in DeFi. I saw you guys go through those same attacks every single day. I saw them come after you. I saw them strip your bank accounts. I saw them cancel you like crazy. The same thing that they were doing to us because we were running for politics is the exact same thing that they were doing to the crypto industry.
And number two, the Trumps love real estate. When the Trump family realized that Bitcoin and crypto is actually a better investment than real estate, they decided to go all in.
You know, for our family, real estate's always been the bedrock of wealth creation. You know, it's tangible, it's physical, we love it, you can see it, you can feel it, it has energy. But really, here's the thing, guys, for the first time, there's another asset that has energy. There's another new digital asset that's revolutionary, right? I mean, one that consumes energy, one has life, and one that really has potential to be more powerful than anything that we've ever seen before. You know, just like real estate, obviously Bitcoin's scarce. There's only 21 million. I don't need to tell anybody in this room that. Name another commodity that's capped. Name another commodity that as prices go up, it's not further exploited. Guys, if gold ever went to $20,000, you'd be tearing down this building. You'd be looking in the concrete pillars over there. You'd be trying to mine gold. You'd be changing the supply dynamics. With Bitcoin, you can't. With Bitcoin's supply is capped. That scarcity, that hard limit, it makes it incredibly valuable, especially as these assets are being purchased in the billions. That's why you see the price skyrocket the way it is. But unlike real estate, Bitcoin's not tied to geography. It's global. It's instantly liquid. Try selling this convention center to a REIT right now. You know, I'll see you in 2 years. Try going out and selling a big office building. You know, it will take you 18 months to do. At the end of it, you're going to want to shoot yourself in frustration. Think about the complement to hard assets that Bitcoin is, right? It's instantly liquid. You can buy or sell it while literally having dinner with your wife or your husband or whoever it might be. It's borderless. It can be transferred. It can be sold. It can be moved with the click of a button. It's a global currency. It doesn't rely on traditional banking systems. It's not subject to the corrupt governments that we talked about before. We see them all over the world. There's corruption everywhere. There's no banks, there's no lawyers, there's no title agencies, there's no brokerage commissions, there's no middlemen. You don't need any of this to operate, to buy, sell. You don't need it to build. And that's why Bitcoin is such an unbelievable asset. Bitcoin and crypto, guys, they truly has the ability to change the world. It has the ability to disrupt traditional banking systems in the biggest way, which really have been controlled by far too few. And I might be speaking against our own interest. We probably did better in that world than anyone. But Bitcoin is inclusive. It gives everybody the opportunity around the world to participate in ways that they never otherwise would have thought, no matter of their wealth, no matter of their location, the geography.
And by the way, I love seeing stuff like this. I love seeing the media personalities that Donald Trump is influencing to be pro-Bitcoin. Here, Dave Rubin talks about how he thinks the U.S. should adopt a national Bitcoin strategic reserve.
What are your thoughts on Bitcoin? And doing maybe like a strategic reserve?
I think that should we have some sort of reserve? You mean the government should have some sort of reserve? Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, we're in such an absolute massive technological shift right now. Like the world, I grew up in a world that I remember I got my first cell phone. It was right before 9/11. I lived in New York City in 9/11. I had a little candy bar, black and white. You know, all you could do was play Snake on it, and
a good game.
Yeah, that was it. That was basically it.
That was the
Like,
balls
think
back in
how
the day.
fundamentally different the world is from that. That was 23 years ago, basically. The world is changing so fast. Everything that's happening with AI, industries are disappearing. Everything that's happening now with robotics, and that they're, you know, even now it's like Amazon at their factories is doing so much automation and so much with robots and everything else. But the guy who drops the package off at your house is still a man. But that's not really necessary, right? We can do it with drones. They'll do it with robots. Elon just, you know, Optimus and all this stuff. So it's like there's so much changing right now that I think that our currency needs to probably change along with it. So I would tell anybody, like, you should get some Bitcoin at least.
Which ultimately leads us to the Trump family's greatest goal, perhaps after Make America Great Again, a $1 million Bitcoin. Smash the like button, subscribe for more videos just like this, check out this prediction, and see you tomorrow.
And so really the question is, you know, what does the future hold? You know, what are we going to see? And I think in the next decade, we're going to see Bitcoin, we're going to see crypto. We're going to see it transform the global economy in beautiful ways. We're going to see it transcend borders and institutions. We're going to see that banks have to adapt. We're going to see that governments have to adapt, and governments will adapt. And by the way, those who embrace Bitcoin, those who embrace this digital revolution, those who embrace digital currency, the people who come in early are going to be the people who win. No different than the people who adopted email, no different than the people who embraced SMS, no different than the people who embraced digital photography. Hey, where's Polaroid right now? Does anybody know? They failed to adapt. They're gone. They're no longer relevant. They're no longer present because they didn't see it. I truly believe in the coming decades that this is going to become the cornerstone of the modern global financial system.
You guys remember those
I can tell you, a lot of eyes were opened when Bitcoin hit 100,000. And I can tell you a hell of a lot more eyes are going to be opened when Bitcoin hits 1 million. And I'm confident it's going to hit 1 million. I think we're all confident in this room that it's going to hit 1 million.
That's awesome. Oh, yeah. I mean, you guys remember waving those pitches? Tell me you don't. I know you do. All right, recap segment of things. Just real quick, I gotta get out of here. Kids are gonna get to school. Bitcoin, everything's green. Look at this. Bitcoin, 98,276 bucks. We got Ethereum at 37.18. We got XRP at $2.34, up almost 9%. Solana up 5%, $224 rather. We have ADA at $1.06, almost $1.07. Nice. Perfect. We got BNB 688 bucks, Sui at $3.76, ETC at almost 32 bucks, Caspa just under 16 cents. Let's see, Dogecoin 40 cents, nice. Shiba's up today 5%. We got DOT up 5% to $8.85, nice. Crow is at 17 cents. I think Crow might do all right if they start advertising it. Crypto.com. It's still super cheap from where it was at its all-time high. I think it's still like 70% down or so. Do what you guys will with that. Render $9.53. We got Ton over here at $6.19. Nothing else really jumping out at me. Oh, Algorand actually. Algorand is at 43 cents over here, up 6.83%. Pretty good over here. Let's see, crypto bubbles. Nothing really changed. I guess XDC is the biggest earner now though. This is at 10 cents. Nice. Yeah, nothing's really crazy. That move token's down 14%, almost 15%. Obviously, that was the only thing that was like pumping yesterday. Flashbang for anybody just joining. Fear and Greed Index at a 74. We just hit under 75, which obviously hits the ticker to extreme greed. So when we're under 75, I think we're in a good place to keep buying. But again, you guys do what you want. Don't take financial advice. People on YouTube, that would be a miserable mistake. All right, guys, listen, I gotta get out of here. Sorry for jetting off too soon, but I gotta get these kids to school. They're gonna be late if I don't hurry the F up. So you guys have a safe, happy Wednesday, and I'll catch you guys bright and early tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Until then, peace out and have a good day.
Each